This is Jeremiah. Welcome back to the New Covenant. We're getting into Philippians. I had a previous video where this is what 60 or so. I forgot the number for this month, but we have quite a few videos this month, um, and we're happy to share these with you. We have 1,000 subscribers. A lot of them are obviously basically interested in the romance music. We're getting very few hits on the Bible study. But we're here to put it out there, and I enjoy reading the Bible. I enjoy these morning and evening sessions. The morning session is just about done here, and I'm happy to have things available for people who are handicapped, people who are lonely and depressed, and so forth. I can be kind of a friend to them. They can come here, and they can read the Bible with me and enjoy it, and it's not a very personal situation. However, there is a little bit of personal contact here. It's not anything substantial in that area. However, let's not underestimate, a person who is a decent person, caring person, available for people to communicate with. In terms of receiving information, this is a very kickback Bible study here. I decided to let the pulpit go as far as church pulpit activity, church grounds, heating the church. All of that is actually a pretty big issue. Especially when this medical emergency came up and you had to do this and you had to wear a mask or something, and people weren't even coming to church. Pastor Tom, he stopped preaching for a while over here, and my old buddy, who's gone to be with the Lord, a very nice gentleman who was a very good Bible teacher, and an exceptional individual, and he has missed greatly already. He hasn't been gone that long, but the thing is that we're here to rejoice in helping people, and there are people out there who are going to receive my desire to bind up the brokenhearted. The Spirit of the Lord is upon me, Luke chapter 4, to preach the gospel to the poor and set at liberty those that are captive, and a light is going to shine in a dark place, and the truth is going to shine, and healing is going to occur where people are hurting, and I am devoted to this task. We just looked at the word love serve. That's what love serve is. Love serve is not just for you to be pure and to get your doctrine straight. Love service is for you to get your doctrine straight and to get active and interact. So I quit the gym because I gave out some Bibles at the gym and was evangelizing there quite a bit. But I don't have the time anymore for the evangelism that much anymore. This Bible teaching is taken over. With just about every day of morning and afternoon sessions. So let's get to Philippians here. As I'll get away from going over what's going on here. I like to let you know what's going on here. Maybe a little too much, but it fluctuates. But I just want to let you know what's going on here. That I'm very happy to be here and to read these scriptures with you. And that's where this ministry is going. A lot of scripture reading, and I'm going to enjoy that. And we're going to enjoy itemizing a few things and then talking about them, as I just did in the previous video, where I talked about combining ideas. Let me give an example before we get to Philippians. Recently, we talked about a lot of subjects, but let's itemize a few moments here. Father insist is a new lesson that I have that I'm going to put under agape. And the idea is that God, your Father, insists on bringing you the blessings of a child based upon your devotion to servanthood. In other words, what we just read in Paul is very significant. that the whole idea of Christianity is for you to be two people, and that is to be a child and a servant. And the servant is basically hammered home first, big time. It doesn't mean that you cannot acknowledge the adoption aspect, father-child relationship with the inception of conversion. That's not the point. The point is that the master is obviously focusing on learning to be a servant based upon his commands to you. The commands of the Lord are revealing what he wants you to do. What he wants you to do is focus on learning to be a servant. There's no mention on learning to be a child. There's no such reference. So common sense ought to tell you that learning to be a servant is going to automatically birth adoption. That's the point. That there's no need to talk about, I am a son of God. I am no longer a servant of God. Paul gave you that in this book, Galatians here, but there's not necessarily a need to do that, is the point. The point is that a person devoted to being a servant will automatically cry Abba Father, and they'll know there's Abba Father. That's the point. There's no need to mention it. That's why John said, if you receive the Son, you have the Father. See, that's the point. The point is that we're here to establish Jesus Christ as Lord big time. That's the whole point here. And as far as adoption goes, and privileges or something along those lines, there's no need to talk about that until you have focused on Jesus is Lord and Master. That's why he said, you call me Lord and Master, and that's who I am. Because that's what we're here to hammer home. As far as hammering home adoption and privileges, there really is no big need to do that. And the reason why there's no big need to do that is because since you've taken in the commandments of Jesus Christ, which are focused on humiliation, then you automatically know the Father. That's the point. And this is a big point in Christianity. It's one of the biggest points in teaching the Bible from a Bible teacher's perspective to convey to you. Now, we'll put boots on the ground to show you this, but because I really shouldn't have to tell you this in a way, right? Because you're going to read all these commandments of Jesus Christ, which are basic humiliation. Drink this cup, face this difficulty, face this difficulty, face this difficulty. Then pretty soon you begin to realize, wait a minute, through facing difficulties, I will automatically do what I'm supposed to do. I'll automatically get what I'm supposed to get. Whatever it is, which is primarily one of the main receptions is obviously you're going to get the Father's love. That's the point. Okay, I'm done with that. Because I was hammering home how love, it ties in with living bread. How adoption ties in with living bread, because living bread basically comes before adoption. That's the point. There is no you crying Abba Father in Galatians until you put on a servant mind. Or you're not in the process of putting on a servant mind. Or you're not in the process of getting your doctrine straight, such as the Galatians. Either way you look at it, it's a developmental situation invariably, right? Oh, I'm adopted when I'm born again. That's good, you are. But is that contingent upon anything? It sure is. The Master said, take up your cross. So it's contingent upon you putting a servant mind on when you were converted and after you're converted. I'm done with that for now. We've been really hammering that home because that's basically what living bread is, and I'm focusing on living bread this year big time. We're getting into David and Mercy a lot here recently and his buddies. We just went to one of his buddies there. the sons of Korah. That was Psalm 40 or so there. And as the deer panteth for the water brook, so my soul longeth after thee, O God. I think I said that was David who said that last year or something. That wasn't him. What a beautiful scripture that is. Every morning we wake up, as the deer panteth for the water brook, we long for the scriptures and for Father's presence as soon as we get up. We promote discipline here. We don't freak out over discipline. We don't have a hammer or a bat in our hand. We just promote discipline. Let's get going. Okay. That which we have seen and heard declare we unto you, that ye may also have fellowship with us. And truly our fellowship is with the Father and with his Son Jesus Christ. Now when we get to John 17, which we just read, see, one more thing about this chain of command thing here and how things happen as far as your Christian life. Let's look at one more scripture on that subject. I want to go to John 17. John 17:3, and this is life eternal, that they may know thee, the only true God, and Jesus Christ, whom thou hast sent. So the whole goal is for us to know the Father and the Son. And obviously the point is they're already getting to know the Son already is the point. They've already begun to establish a relationship with the Son because that's what God wanted them to do. And the point is that the Father sends you to the Son. This becomes the intermediary aspect of Christianity. That you were sent to go to the Son and to focus on the Son. That's the point. In other words, it's mandatory for you to focus on the Son. He who honoreth not the Son, honoreth not the Father. John 5. That's monstrous scripture. And let me hammer that home as we move on. The idea that you don't need to focus on the Son big time is one of the biggest issues of Protestant Christianity. That we Protestants teach that the primary thing you must do is go to the Son. As far as knowing the Father, you automatically know the Father. The Master just said that we're supposed to know the Father and the Son, but he's already mentioned in the Gospels that he who receives me receives him that sent me. So you must receive the Son and honor him. That's the big issue here. And the Son is a master and you're a servant. That's the point. When the Father is mentioned, it's mentioned more along the lines of love and compassion. The Son is mentioned more along the lines, quite often, as a Lord and a master who has a job for you. That's the point. That's why we hammer home Jesus Christ basically as Master and Lord. And sometimes when we mention the Father, we refer to him in terms of love because he's not necessarily your immediate supervisor. That's the point. You must acknowledge Jesus Christ as your immediate supervisor and master. See, that's the key. It doesn't mean he doesn't love you and he's also your father. That's not the point. The point is master-servant relationship must be established. You must honor Jesus Christ even as you honor the Father. This becomes a ginormous issue for the Protestant church. This is what we teach, that you don't necessarily need to talk about the Father very much at all. That's the point. It doesn't mean you can't do it. It means that we don't have to. Because when you mention the Son, you're automatically mentioning the Father as the point. Okay? Let's move on. He who receives Jesus Christ receives him that sent him. That's the point. And if you don't receive the Son properly, with the mind of a servant, then there's no soap anywhere, is the point. There's no lordship, there's no true servanthood, and there's no adoption from Father. You don't know Father, and you can't cry, Abba, Father. That's why when Paul said love, serve, that was when he was really getting down to brass tacks. Love, serve is the key to everything. Because that's what's going to birth your solid adoption. That's the point. That's what's going to solidify the Lord as Master and Father. Because he's Father too. However, you might say his primary function is immediate supervisor over you as a servant. That's the point. And unless you establish that relationship, nothing's going to happen. That's why most of his commandments are servant-oriented. Fall on the stone. Fall in the ground. Exchange everything that you have. Can you drink my difficulties? Can you face tribulations and afflictions and hang in there like I'm going to do? That becomes the basis for Christianity. It becomes the basis for adoption, because it doesn't do any good for Jesus Christ to ask you, like he asked John's mother, can you drink the cup? And you say, no, I can't drink the cup. And then all of a sudden we start talking about adoption or crying, Abba, Father. It'll never happen is the point. If John's mother would have said, no, I can't drink the cup, then the master could have easily told her that there is no Father for you, there's no heaven for you, there's no saved for you, and there's no you're going to cry, Abba, Father, woo, Father, I'm your child. It's not going to happen. Because you weren't willing to eat living bread on your table, which was learning to be a servant. Okay, you see how this works? I beseech you, brethren, by the mercies of God, to present your bodies as a living sacrifice. There you go. That's the only acceptable thing in the eyes of God, is a servant who puts his body down as a living sacrifice. End of story. The same thing as drink the cup. I beseech you, brethren, by the mercies of God, so by God's grace, you can present your body as a living sacrifice, as someone who is getting out of sin and preaching the proper gospel. That's a living sacrifice. The only acceptable, presentable, whole representation that you can give. And obviously, putting on a servant mind is a part of that proper presentation. Okay? Now, let's get to brass tacks. I didn't mean to go that far into that, but let's go. Let's go to Philippians chapter 1. Paul and Timotheus, the servant of Jesus Christ, to the saints in Christ Jesus, which are at Philippi, with the bishops and deacons. So we're talking about Bible pastors and their assistants. Grace be unto you and peace from God our Father and from the Lord Jesus Christ. I thank my God upon every remembrance of you, always in every prayer of mine for you all, making requests with joy. So this guy is keeping track of everybody. This guy is on love task. He himself is love serving. That's what's going on here. Boots on the ground. Let's make one more point on this Father and Son thing, because we just had from God our Father and from the Lord Jesus Christ. One more note as we move on this chain of command situation. When you receive Jesus Christ, you automatically receive the Father. So therefore, why would you stress receiving the Father? Unless you're not paying attention to the simple 4th grade grammar and you're flunking the class. In other words, if I go out and preach Jesus Christ, Jesus Christ, Jesus Christ, the Son of the living God, believe on him, love him, do I need to add anything else? And the answer is what? No. Because Jesus Christ, when you receive him, you're automatically receiving the Father, because it's the Father's name that you called on and that you're speaking. Because the Father's name is Yahshua and the Son's name is Yahshua. They're both Yah. They're both I am. They're both YH. They're also YHWH in Hebrew, which is now in the New Testament Jesus, the only name. Meaning Yahshua, the Lord saves. So both of them are the Lord. So when you received one half of the Lord, you got the other half of the Lord. Now some people get confused because they think that the Jesus half might be less important than the Father half. No, he put on a human body, therefore that human body is in subjection to God. But the half of him that's Almighty God is not in subjection to God. That's why we just looked in John, where he said, restore to me the glory I ever had with you, because in the beginning I was God. In other words, simply stated, I'm going back to being God in heaven. It's very simple mathematics. It's nothing very complicated. Restore to me the glory I ever had with you before the world was. And that reference is to John 1:1. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was God. So he was just God. Now he's God and man, and God and man, and the man aspect of him, or the Son of Man, is in subjection to God. But now in John 17, which we just looked at, which is huge, especially when it comes to deity study, and deity is a major part of what's required of you, so that's why it's called living bread, basically, right? It's required of you to identify what I'm talking about right now, pertaining to the status of Jesus Christ. It's heavy-duty stuff. That's why I'm focusing on that this year. Basic requirements of you and me. Living bread, which is a basic part of sound doctrine, correct? It's the major part of sound doctrine. You're saved by grace, and that not of yourself. That's living bread. That's major duty stuff. Now being justified by faith, you have peace with God. These are all big heavy hitters. Shall no flesh be justified in the presence of the Lord? It's called the throne of grace. You never present anything that you do to God. It won't be accepted. Because it's stained and it's tainted. They have 3 buildings around the corner here that tell you that you can bring your works to the altar of God somehow. You can do that. All three of these buildings reject the throne of grace. All three of them. Catholics, Mormons, and witnesses. The Synagogue of Hell, Catholicism, Latter-day Demons, the Mormons, and demonic witnesses, Jehovah's Witnesses. That's what they are, essentially. So for anyone to say that you need to have some sort of special connection or to do anything along these lines, they are not Protestants in general. That's the point. It's very unfortunate, right? That's the way it is. Because we just looked at John 5:5, monster stuff, John 5, I forgot the verse there, but you must honor the Son even as you honor the Father. So what's that translated to? Obviously, the Father is putting the Son in your face to serve and love, and as far as He goes, He comes automatic, and you need not even get into acknowledging Him. Because your love of the Son is going to get the love of the Father. We just looked at that in John 14:15. It's right there. Some people might knock on your door and say, you need to acknowledge another name. You need to acknowledge Father separately. You need to acknowledge Father as superior. And this is the devil. Because if you receive the Father automatically by loving the Son, why would anybody mention any other reception or any other name? There's only one name under heaven given. There's only one name. For Protestant, King James Simple Grammar. If you can't understand simple grammar of King James, that's because you don't want to. You have a different book that you go by. When they knock on my door, they have a King James in their hand usually, and their own little devil Bible. When TV preacher minions come over to my house, they come over with a pansy doctrine. Starbucks kind of Christian-y people, you know, they party, they don't wear proper clothing, they're proud of themselves and all of this. That's the pansy doctrine. They don't have any books. They memorize it. The pansy doctrine. I don't have a cross. I don't, no way, man. I'm not going to lay down my life for the brethren. They'll tell you that. Blatantly contradicting the fourth grade grammar of a Protestant who's passing the class, who's going to get saved. That's why it's called an apostasy or a great falling away. A lot of people who just go mentally retarded. They're either proud or who knows why they're doing what they're doing. There's a lot of reasons. Selfishness, they stare in the mirror, who knows? Let's get back to Philippians. For your fellowship in the gospel from the first day until now. Be confident of this very thing, that he which hath begun a good work in you will perform it until the day of Jesus Christ. Even as it is meet or desires for me to think this of you all, because I have you in my heart, inasmuch as both in my bonds and in the defense and confirmation of the gospel, ye are all partakers of my grace. So by grace, Paul is an operator. He's preaching the gospel. He's defending it and he's confirming it. For God is my record, how greatly I long after you all in the bowels of Jesus Christ. And this I pray, that your love may abound yet more and more in knowledge and in all judgment. So once again, Paul is going to, this guy's not playing. So you need to learn more and to make proper assessments. You need to know how to assess your world. Knowledge helps you learn how to assess your world. Make proper judgments on your world. Discernment and discretion, okay? That ye may approve things that are excellent. That ye may be sincere and without offense till the day of Christ. So he's getting him on the narrow brick road. And the way to do that is to get them to say everything that's proper, keep it in your life. Everything that's honest, stick to it. Everything that offends the Lord, leave it alone. Being filled with the fruits of righteousness, which are by Jesus Christ unto the glory and praise of God. So already he's given an easier chapter. This is probably a little easier than most of Paul's introductions. He usually makes it a little thicker than this. I actually prefer this as a Bible teacher in general, this format he has here. Because he's not adding too much here. There's nothing wrong with adding a lot. It's just that, subject, subject, subject. But this is smooth here. Learn how to make proper assessments by having Bible study. So you keep filth out of your life without offense. And the more you learn, the better your skills to assess are your world, the world of Christianity. And he defends the gospel and salvation and the saving of souls and the activity therein. And he's been in jail, and that's just the way it goes. Let's move on. Being filled with the fruits of righteousness, which are by Jesus Christ unto the glory and praise of God. He changes gears again. What's going to happen to you when you study? You stay on the right track. You stay away from filth. You're going to produce good things as a Christian. You're going to participate in church activities, and you're going to be productive because you're on the narrow brick road. You're learning how to talk, how to communicate, and you're learning to stay away from filth. And now there's new wine for you because you're new wineskins now. You're fulfilling what you need to do and learning and using your head, and now God can use you and put His Spirit in you so you can get out there and get to work. He's not going to use people who don't know what they're doing and who aren't clean. God's not going to use people who don't know what they're doing and they're not clean. Now you can do all different kinds of things for the church, for God's glory and to the praise of God. Okay, I'm going to stop right here. This is probably the easiest introduction Paul has. Maranatha, we'll be right back. Amen. Hallelujah.